Hey everyone, Tina Hogan Grant here with my Cuppa A Natter that I like to do twice a month on a Monday, where I invite authors into my home. We talk about books, writing, life as an author, and anything else that comes to mind. And this evening I have the wonderful Jeffrey C. Morris joining me. How are you this evening, sir?
Just fine, Tina. Thank you very much for the opportunity, and looking forward to this. It's the first time I've ever done a podcast, so bear with me if I make a mistake or two.
I think you're going to be a natural, and I feel special that you're on my show. So I am the one that's breaking you into the world of podcasting and live chats. So
thank you very much.
I think you're natural. I love the accent, by the way.
Oh, so, thanks. It's pure West Virginia.
Is that where it is? West Virginia?
Yes, ma'am.
That was my next question, is where is it from? All right, Jeffrey. Well, before we get started with your books, can you just give a little background on yourself? Okay. Anything you want to share with the rest of the world?
My name's Jeffrey C. Morris. The C stands for Curtis, which was my father's name. I was born in West Virginia, lived the first 8 years of my life there. My father was transferred down here, or got laid off, and we moved to North Carolina. I've lived here ever since, except for when I was in the U.S. Air Force. Graduated in 1982, went in the military for 4 years, actually 10 years, because I was in the Air National Guard in West Virginia for about 6 years. Got out of that in 1992. I'm married to my lovely wife, Jennifer. I've got 3 grown children. One's 37, one's 34, and one's 29, or soon to be 29. And I've written short stories and things like that my entire life, ever since I was a kid. Most of them wound up getting thrown away. I didn't have time for it. Life gets in the way, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And finally, when all my kids were grown and gone, I finally decided I was going to finish one of these stories and publish it. And I did. And that was in 2022. And then I republished it in 2023 under a different title. And then I just put out Falling to Grace this past March. I think the reason I decided to write the second one was I had so many friends and family members asking me, was I going to write another book? And so I finally decided, well, the only way to shut them up is to do it.
So you did it. Good for you.
But I did change genres. I was told by 2 or 3 people that I shouldn't do that. My first book was historical fiction. This one is a romantic suspense. And it was a story I'd written several years before, and just kind of resurrected it and threw the crime in there. The first time I wrote it, it was more of a romance than it was anything else. And then I decided to throw the crime in there, and I didn't know what even genre it was in. And Julie Rogers, my editor, was the one that said, well, that's a romantic suspense. And so we published it in March. And the first book that I put out, I didn't really actively look to advertise it or push it or anything like that, because even to me, it was a novelty. It was something, hey, I did this. I finally finished one of my books, and I finally published it. But the second time I said, this is an expensive thing to do, and I would like to push it out there a little bit just to see if I can break it out past family and friends. And so here I am.
Well, number one, congratulations on not only completing one book, but completing 2. Well, that alone right there, you should just give yourself a huge pat on the back for, because many people will say, I want to write a book, I should write this book, but do they actually sit down, write it, and finish it and publish it? No. So you're like in that 1% ratio that will actually do what they said they're going to do, write that book, finish that book, and publish that book. So that's huge right there alone. But they say that writing the book is the easy part, marketing is where it gets hard.
That's what I have found out.
Yeah, that is where, I mean, I've written 18 books, but I'm still learning how to market them. It's just a learning curve, no matter how many books you put out. It's just a learning curve. And with millions of books that are out there, we do things like this, like you're on my chat. This is what we do, just to get noticed and stuff like that. And in fact, I want to pause real quick before we start talking about your latest book and say hello to these people that are joining us. We have Elaine. She says, hello, everyone. And then Belinda, she says hello. And again, I am talking to Jeffrey C. Morris. We're going to be talking about his 2 books, Gunmetal Ridge and also Falling to Grace. If you have any questions for Jeffrey, go ahead and put them up in the comments. I will go ahead and get to as many as I can. And be nice to Jeffrey. This is the first time he has gone live. We are putting him out there in the world. So be nice to Jeffrey. He's doing really good. And I told him he's a natural. Then Elaine says she loves this. And also she says, welcome. Karen is here. Karen Geeling. She says, hello, Tina and Jeffrey. Virgie is here. She says, welcome. I'm just going down the list. I appreciate everyone taking an hour out of the day. Belinda is here. She says, welcome. Lori Chasco is here. She says, hello. And of course, Elaine is commenting on my beautiful coffee cup because she bought it for me for Christmas. So thank you, Elaine, for my cup. It's one of my favorite cups during my chat. Let's see. There are a couple of questions. I'm going to pause right here. I want to get us talking about your latest book, Falling to Grace.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a copy of it next to you that we can see the cover? There it is. Beautiful, beautiful cover. I love the cover. Falling to Grace. Did you design the cover? Did you have someone design it for you?
Julie and I worked on it after we had edited everything out, and we designed the cover. And I was going to tell a little funny story about that. We were trying to get pictures through Shutterstock, and actual pictures of live human beings. And there was a certain look I wanted, which was that look.
Okay.
That picture is AI. I'm not a big fan of AI. They made a movie about AI many years ago. It was called The Terminator, and it didn't work out too well. But Julie sent me that picture, and I said, that's the picture I want for my cover. And I don't remember exactly what the deal was, but for some reason or another, they the people that did the covers would not work with AI, anything that was generated by AI. Okay. So we looked, couldn't find any pictures that I got so desperate. This is a funny story I was going to tell you about the cover. I got so desperate that one of our former neighbors, when we lived up in Fuquay Arena proper, she was a model, gorgeous young lady. And her husband, except for she has blonde hair, look very much like the couple in that thing. And I actually asked them if they could recreate that picture in a live photo so that I could use it. And we would just airbrush her hair brunette because she's a blonde. Right. And they actually agreed to do it. And then Julie calls me up or Zoom calls with me and tells me that the cover people agreed to use that picture. Oh, and I'm like, so that, because that was the look of the couple on the cup that I wanted. And I just had to have that. And like I said, it was a last minute thing. And I didn't have to call on my neighbors to help me out.
what cool neighbors that they were doing. You got some nice neighbors.
That's a couple that's probably not quite half Jennifer and I's age, and we became they were the best neighbors that we've ever had.
Are they still next to you? Are they still
no, we wound up moving down to we live in the same town technically, but we live in another county now. It's just south of where we used to live, and that's a long story. But we've stayed in touch with them since we moved away a couple of years ago. And like I said, I just texted her out of the blue, and she was, we'll do this. And but it didn't have to. And that's the only thing on that.
Now, did they read the book, your neighbors?
Yes. Okay. She left me a good review on Amazon, and I think she left one on Goodreads as well. And I don't know if her husband is much of a reader, but I know she read it, and she left me a review. And let me see. There was something else I was going to say about that. Oh, and as far as the rest of the cover goes, I'm a huge Dodge fan.
Okay.
And the car is a Dodge Charger, and that was an actual picture. And the other stuff on there, the lights and everything, we got that off Shutterstock as well. But the couple was what I wanted, and I was fortunate enough to get that just at the last minute.
You can feel the emotion in that shot. You can feel the
Yeah.
emotion between
Yeah.
the man and the woman. Now, without giving too much away, can you just give us a little insight on what the book is about?
I'll do my best because, like I said, I like to talk a lot.
But don't give too much away.
No. Basically, it's about a guy. His name's Matt Pearson. He is put it to you like this, he's kind of a cad. And you probably know what the definition of cad is. And he lost his wife and unborn child 10 years before this story takes place in an automobile accident. He's had a lot of tragedy in his life. And he's one of these people that thinks the world owes him reparations, and he takes it out with one night stands. Well, he's in Dallas, Texas. He's a computer guy. He's a computer hacker. He owns a company that does gaming and hacking and stuff like this. They do a lot of covert stuff with the federal government. Now, he's in Dallas, Texas, selling firewall protection to companies in the Dallas, Texas area. Just so happens he runs into an old high school crush of his who is in Dallas for a cosmetics convention. Runs into her. They don't exactly hit it off immediately, and intertwined with a lot of the other stories that leads up to the crime part of it is the story of their 3-day weekend in Dallas. Also, along those lines, Grace is the lady that's mentioned in the title. Let me put that up over there. I have a tendency to fall over my own tongue, so bear with me. She is in a bad marriage, and Matt is directly involved in the past in high school. Now, he is 2 years younger than her. He's a very smart guy. He graduated 2 years early, but in the same class as her. And her husband was a star quarterback in the football team. She was a beautiful cheerleader, so forth and so on. And he made the mistake and had a conversation with her one day. And the football player and his two friends beat this guy up.
Oh, no.
Well, he remembers this. And they get in a little spat the first night. And then the story goes on. He takes her out to dinner and apologizes. And by the end of their trip to Dallas, they're pretty much a couple. I won't give anything else away as the reason why. Okay. Now, remember, the title is Falling to Grace, and that's basically kind of a double meaning. Her name is Grace, and I'm not an overtly religious person. I'll make that perfectly clear. But I do believe in God's grace, and that's also part of the story. Now, the second part of it, and this is what Julie really helped me with to structure the way this book is, and this is what I added from what I wrote years ago. The crime part of it is human trafficking.
Okay.
Grace is on the edge of human trafficking in the county she lives in Georgia, which is fictitious. I did not want to disparage the people of Georgia, so I created a town and a whole county that's completely fictitious at north of Atlanta. And basically her husband's father is a human trafficker.
Oh, wow.
And okay. And the crime story starts out on the high seas with an interdiction by the U.S. Navy. They discover a ship full of trafficked people. The story goes back to the FBI. They're plotting and everything to take these people down. There's corrupt government officials in it and the Ports Authority. You learn about Melvin Hunter is the American human trafficker. The big bad guy in this is a fellow named, and I came up with this name just out of the blue, Ernesto Gladez, who is a Venezuelan. And he is the big bad guy. There are three people that literally fall to grace in this story. Matt, Ernesto Gladez's second in command, falls to grace. And one of the victims of Melvin Hunter, the trafficker, falls to grace in this story. And basically, it all comes together. The weekend that Matt and Grace are in Dallas is when a whole bunch of things come together in different parts of the story.
Interesting.
and like I said, Julie was outstanding in helping me structure that.
Right.
When I sit down to write, I write, man, and I mean like little just on the keyboards and everything, and I will go through in this particular book. I went through about 2 chapters of the crime starting, and then a bunch of chapters of the entire weekend that Matt and Grace were in Dallas, and then wrote the rest of the crime part of it. And Julie, like I said, was the one that helped me structure it to where, the romance was broken up by the lead up toward the finale.
Gotcha.
The whole story takes place in the span of about 10 months. Well, the end of it does kind of jump into the future a little bit, but that's basically the synopsis of it. It's 2 people that fall back in love, or actually, she falls in love with him, but he falls back in love with her because he'd known her for years before. And then you find out just how nasty, I guess, some people can be. And there are certain sections of this book, and I'll go ahead and say that right now, that were very difficult for me to write because they are describing things that are 180 degrees opposite of my nature. It was difficult to write. And I told people in the foreword of the book that it may be difficult to read. And I kept those chapters as short.
That's good that you put a forward and triggers in there to warn people. Because my question is going to be the difficult situations or subject matter of this book. You said that you wrote it a while back, the original.
In the original story that I wrote a long time
way back.
What year is this? 2026. It was probably about 14 years ago. I was writing this story before my father passed away, and that was in 2014.
What inspired you to write this story?
The way it's published now. Originally, I just wanted to write a romance, and of course, there was a lot more dialogue in it. There was a lot more sex in it. This one here, I toned all that down. I think one of the things that I was looking for a crime to, be the catalyst for a lot of this. And human trafficking has been in the news now for, 7, 8, 9, 10 years with the Epstein stuff. And of course, the Epstein stuff, from the research that I did on it, is the exception rather than the rule in this type of crime. And now, of course, the Epstein files and everything, it's just a political football that they kick back and forth and point fingers and all this other stuff. But a lot of the things that I read about how people are trafficked, they're kidnapped. And I mean, they just literally disappear. And I kind of worked that in there. And one of the things that I discovered in my research was that runaways, young runaways, children, literally children, they run away from home. And if they run away from up north, they always head south because warmer climate. And Atlanta, Georgia, is basically an intersection where a whole bunch of interstates coming from the north head south into Florida, Alabama, so forth and so on. And so I figured that would be a perfect place to basically put my villains, my American villains.
Right.
And like I said, I kind of stopped the research because it gave me enough information that I could just use my imagination about how wicked these people really are.
Yeah.
And it did give me great satisfaction to write the part of it where they got taken down. So
I like that. So, I mean, this book is a romance, you said. It's a romantic suspense. There is some steam in it. What's the level of steam from 1 to 10? 10 being the high.
Oh, 10 being the high? It's not that steamy. Define steamy.
Define steamy. Well, the door's wide open and they can see everything going on. That would be a 10 with the language. If the doors are closed,
I would say it tops out steamy wise as probably only about a 5.
Okay, mediocre.
And some people ask me because in the original story it was fairly steamy.
Okay.
But when I decided to publish it, someone asked me, a friend of mine asked me, he said, well, because he had read the original story I wrote a long time ago. he said, did you tone it down any? I said, oh, I had to tone it down a whole lot. He goes, why? I said, because my mother's going to read this.
What about your wife?
Well, my wife, well, it might excite her. I don't know. But my mother's going to read this. And even though I have 3 children, I'm not sure my mother thinks that I know all there is to know about it.
How about your kids? Do they read it?
I say that humorously, but my mother was going to read it, and I have older aunts, and they would read that. And I don't want them to think that I'm some kind of pervert.
But the romance, usually you have a little bit of steam in there because you want the reader to feel the chemistry when you write a romance. That's the bottom.
I've had several people tell me to my face that have read it, and like I said, these are friends and family members of mine that they believe I did a really good job building up that romance between the two with dialogue and how they react to certain situations and the things they reveal to each other before they consummate the thing.
Right.
And I feel really good about that.
Well, I looked at the reviews of both your books. You got excellent reviews for both books. So I looked at the reviews. You got.
I missed that last part. You froze up there for a second.
No, you have excellent reviews for your books, both books. You got some really good reviews on your books. You hear me? Oh, we just lost him. Hopefully he comes back. All right, people.
Tina, I believe I've lost you.
No, I can see you, but you froze. You're in and out.
Are you
there
back?
We go. There you are.
Oh, no. Yeah.
You're coming. There you are. Yeah, you got it. Your internet is slow for some reason.
You froze up. So
your end. Your end is breaking up. You got me?
Oh, great.
That's right. I hear you. It's just the image is freezing on your side.
Yeah, and
now you're fine.
Your image is freezing.
You might go in and out, but we're just going to continue talking. You're good now.
Okay.
But once in a while, your image freezes, but we can still hear your voice. So don't even worry about it. If you see it freezing, don't worry about it. I want to just pop in some questions real quick. We're talking about your book. I want to scroll up. Karen had a good question. If I can find it. I'm sorry, Karen. I saw it earlier. Give me just 1 minute. I'm going up because there's quite a few questions I want to fit in here. I'm going back to the beginning because it was asked a while ago. Hold on a minute. Going down. It was Karen Geeling. I want to start with Karen. Okay, Karen, I can't find your question, but I remember what it is. You want to know if the characters in his books are based on anyone in real life. Loosely.
In actuality, no.
Okay.
No. Okay. The characters themselves. Now, the names, I did borrow some friends' names and just put different first names in front of them. I'm not great at making up names that, all of them don't wind up being Smith.
That works.
And I actually got the approval of the people whose last names I used. And I just put different first names with them.
I like that you asked.
No, the characters themselves are not based on anyone.
They're all fiction.
Now, I will say this much about the cover. Somebody did ask me, did I base that guy on me? And I told him, I said, look, I was never that beefy at the best day of my life. So no. And I was looking at some of your cast over the weekend, and I noticed that you never have anybody that wears a hat. Well, there's the reason I'm wearing it, because I don't want to blind anybody with the glare off my forehead.
Very cute. I like that. All right, I'm gonna put up some more questions so I can at least get a few of these in. Okay, Janet wants to know, are you a morning writer? I want to throw in one there too. Number one, do you write every day? And if so, are you a morning writer?
I go in fits and spurts as far as writing goes, and I am not a morning writer. I do my best work in the evenings. My wife usually goes to bed before I do. And when she goes to bed, usually the cats and dogs, and we've got 7 of them total here, usually are with her. And I will retreat up here to my beautiful little man cave and just write. And if I get on a roll, I will lose track of what time it is. And I'll look up and it's 3 o'clock in the morning. And I've got to get up and go to work in 2 hours.
Oh, wow.
And, like I said, I go in fits and spurts. And for this particular book, when I was trying to decide A, to write a second one, and B, which story it was going to be, I chose this one, and it took me to rework it the way it is now, it took me about 10 months. And there would be 2 or 3 months that I might work on it 2 or 3 nights in a month. And because I had other things to do,
of course,
other pressing things, not just, sit and play Xbox or something, but just other pressing things I had to do. And then finally I would get things would slow down, and I'd get to the point where, okay, I can pound out some more stuff. And then I finished this book last year. I had to have my hip replaced in November. And I was probably about a little less than 2/3 of the way done with it. And sat down here when I could come back up the stairs to my man cave, after the hip had healed up enough that I could climb stairs. I came up here and probably pounded that story out, finished it in about 3 weeks. And that was working on it every night. But I very seldom ever work on it during the morning or the daytime. I don't know. It just seems like my creative juices flow better in the evening. And and if I get on a roll, like I said, I can look up at the clock. Oh, God, it's 2 o'clock in the morning.
Just keep writing. With the words are flowing, just keep writing. How many pages is this book?
This book is 300 and now, granted, the script on it is a little bit larger than the first book was. It's 318 pages long.
That's a good size book.
Yeah.
That's a good size book.
Well, I did what my mother wanted me to do. I made the script a little bit larger in this because, as you see, I wear glasses, and it's easier for me to read something with larger print than it is.
I'm sure a lot of the readers will appreciate it too.
Yeah. Well, when I published my first book, now I did that one myself, and I discovered that I'm a horrible editor. The original book that I wrote that turned into Gunmetal Ridge was called Mr. Morgan's Memories. Published it myself and had a large script on it. But when Julie and I revamped it into Gunmetal Ridge and republished it in 2023, the print was much smaller. And I had a few complaints from people that are like me, that are kind of
the glasses.
Yeah. But
okay. All right. Continuing on with a few more questions. Belinda, she would like to know, what is your favorite genre to read?
To read?
And I'm going to throw Laura's up there too. Favorite author.
My favorite genre to actually sit down and read, and I don't read near as much as I used to, was probably horror, believe it or not.
Horror?
I don't like horror. I do not like horror movies, but back when I was a younger person, I would say junior high school up through about 1990, when I was in my late 20s. Just about everything Stephen King wrote, I read.
How about now?
Now, when I do sit down and read an entire novel, it's usually A, somebody I know has written the book, or B, something along the lines of Lonesome Dove. Lonesome Dove is probably my favorite all-time book.
Okay, that's cool. Because Laura wants to know if you have a favorite author.
My favorite author?
Mm-hmm.
I would say that's probably a cross between, I'll still throw Stephen King in there.
Okay.
I would say Larry McMurtry. The only one of his books I've ever finished all the way through was Lonesome Dove. And my father told me, the book is always better than the movie or the miniseries. And he was right. The book is better, but you can't get much better than Lonesome Dove.
Yeah.
I like to read crime thrillers. The Godfather is probably up in my top 5 list of books that I have read in my life. Cool. I tried to read in high school The Grapes of Wrath, and made it through about 25 pages, and then seriously considered jumping off a building. I could not get into that book. Probably the worst book I have ever read, and some people probably vilify me for this, was The Catcher in the Rye.
I
Uh,
liked the movie of that. I'm not sure if I've read the book, but I did
yeah,
enjoy the movie.
when I had to read the book when I was in high school.
Okay.
By the end of that story, I was hoping somebody would finish off Holden Caulfield.
Oh
I
my
couldn't stand
goodness.
it. I would say probably a close second as far as my favorite books is probably To Kill a Mockingbird.
Yeah, I agree with that one.
To Kill a Mockingbird to me was an absolutely fantastic story.
Yeah.
And but when I do sit down and read anymore, it is usually something that a friend of mine has
Okay.
written. I've got, matter of fact, on my bookshelf over there, I've got 3 books. One is written by a girl that I graduated from high school with, and it's a true story murder mystery from Texas in the early 1920s. A friend of mine, that old Air Force brother of mine that lives in Connecticut and Rhode Island, he published a book a couple of years ago called When Evil Dreams, and I bought that and read it. And a great story, really enjoyed that. And then I've got a second cousin that lives in Phixers now that just published a book, and I bought it and read it. Now I have another first cousin in West Virginia. Well, I got first cousins and cousins all over the place. He, being as he still lives in West Virginia, he has written a story about the Mothman. I don't know if you've heard of the Mothman. They had that movie out years ago, The Mothman Prophecies, and that's it's based on a period of time in the late 1960s. He is in the process now of getting that book published, and
nice.
I will snatch that up and buy it as well, just to support my cousin.
I was going to say, I like the fact that you support your friends that are doing the writing.
I don't ever plan or don't ever expect to become Michael Crichton, John Jakes, Stephen King, anybody like that. But I do enjoy writing. I have always enjoyed storytelling. And I probably get that from my dad's father, who Mr. Morgan in the first book was a lot of that was based on my grandfather. He was like me. He liked to talk about stuff. He was a great storyteller. I enjoy doing that. Of course, I hope one of these days that my name will be up in lights on a movie thing, from a story by Jeffrey C. Morris. And I even had a Facebook.
Hey, you just never know.
Hey, well, yeah, you never know.
Never say never. That's for sure.
I'm not naive enough to really expect that to happen, but I hope it does. But I
know.
love telling stories. I love a good story, and the type of writer I am, and I was very meticulous with the first book, and I did my best with this one, is to keep the story, even though it's fiction, as real and believable as possible. There's too many superhero stories out there. There's too many sci-fi stories out there that, they're great movies and they're great stories, but they're not in the world that most of us live in.
Right, the realism. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, realism. I'll mention this later on about the first book. When I was writing it, I discovered all kinds of things in the research I did writing the first book. In this particular book, a lot of it was fringe information or fringe research. I got the basics of how human trafficking happens, this and that and everything else. And I just let my imagination go and go as deep as I could go.
Right.
And just how nasty these people can be.
Yeah,
and the bad things they do and things like that.
Horrific. It is. I do want to put up this comment from Elaine.
Okay.
She says, I'm going to read Falling Grace. Perfect cover, perfect name. I simply love it.
Well, thank you very much. So I hope you enjoy it.
That up. A lot of people saying it sounds awesome. I am going to take a little pause because I do want to read the blurb to your book that we put up on Amazon to give them an idea about the book. Here we go. Here it is right here. A Fall from Grace. I'm going to read the blurb that's on Amazon. It says, The Girl That Got Away, The Woman Who Returned. Matt Pearson, an Afghanistan veteran and cybersecurity developer, reunites with Graceland Jennings, his high school crush, now Grace Hunter, and unknowingly connected to the underbelly of human trafficking in Hunter County. Can their love survive a criminal element that threatens every step they take? And one of the reviews says, Matt Pearson, a battle hardened Marine carrying the ghost of lost and regret reconnects with Grace Hunter, now trapped in a toxic marriage, and ignites a spark both inevitable and dangerous. Their chemistry is electric, the journey raw and deeply emotional. Very good. Now, this book, of course, is on Amazon. I see that it is on Kindle, and you have a paperback edition, but it's not on Kindle Unlimited, correct? Just Kindle.
No, Julie and I decided to, when we republished the first book and this one, we also put it on Draft to Digital. And all of their entities, and I was under the impression that you could still have it on Kindle Unlimited, but you can't if you go with Draft to Digital. I may eventually, if possible, take it off of Draft to Digital because I haven't sold a single book there. Nobody even knows it's there.
Yeah, I mean, all of my books are in KU, Kindle Unlimited, but you have to test it. Give each platform like 3 months, and then if nothing's moved in 3 months, like you said, pull it off, put everything in KU or this book in KU, and give it 3 months. But you have to wait until the thing with Draft to Digital. Once you shut down those platforms, it's going to take 7 to 14 days for all of those books to shut down, one by the libraries and all the, so don't immediately put it on KU. Double check, go back to Draft to Digital and make sure everything is done. Everything's being shut down, but it doesn't all shut down at once. Okay. You want to make sure it's, because if you publish on KU and there's still a book out there on another platform, Amazon can shut you down. So make sure before you do KU to double check on Draft to Digital that everything is shut down. It might take 1 to 14 days. They might close 2 days, and then 3 days later they close another 2. It doesn't all happen instantly. So just do that. But definitely try it out. If it's not moving anything on Draft to Digital, consider KU.
They have specials on Draft to Digital. I participated in 2 of them last year. I think it was a summer sale and and I think it was a Christmas time sale. And I basically gave the first book away. And I think I had 7 sales for free. People they got the book for free and read it. And I think I got a couple of reviews out of it. But like I said, just all of their entities charge more than Amazon does. Yeah. Well, a lot of people got on my case. Actually got on my case when I published this second one, because I said I'm keeping the price of it the same price as I did with Gunmetal Ridge, $12.99. And oh man, you need to jack the price up. And I said, well, why? Everything else is, and I want people to read it.
Is that $12.99 for the paperback? Okay, that's a really good deal. And the thing too, if you go into KU, people can still get your book in paperback everywhere. If you publish your paperback through Ingram, Sparks, your book is available anywhere in the world to be ordered at any bookstore. So they still have the option, if they don't want to use Amazon, to get your paperback everywhere. But in Amazon, your ebook will be in KU only, which is great because Amazon has the majority of the market. That's just, even though a lot of people have a lot of complaints about Amazon, I certainly do, they do hold a majority of the market. And that's just a fact. So try and put your books, in there and see what happens. Just, you never know unless you try. And if for some reason, which I'll be very surprised, you're doing worse than you are in, the other platforms, shift it back. You're not tied into KU permanently. You have to be there for 3 months. But going back and forth will be a chore. I'm in KU. I'm going to stay in KU, and that's where most of my royalties come from. Is KU. Okay,
so, I'll take that into consideration.
What's that?
I'll take that into consideration.
Yeah, I would definitely consider it. Don't just say no. You never know unless you try. I do want to spend some time talking about your first book. Your first book is called Gunmetal Ridge. This was your debut. Now, when did this come out?
The original version of it was called Mr. Morgan's Memories. And I put it out in April of 2022. I got a lot of sales out of it, family and friends and whatnot.
Right.
But then as I reread the published version of it, I discovered what a terrible editor I am. And one instance, I'm serious, one instance
I
of
am too.
this
That's
was
why I have one.
Mr. Morgan's daughter. I renamed her from Amy to Diana on the same page and missed it 50 times.
Yeah,
I'm a
that's why
terrible
we
editor.
always got to have more eyes on our work.
Exactly. I'm a terrible editor. Well, it died down, and I was seriously considering pulling it off of Amazon and just pretending it never happened.
Mm-hmm.
I was disappointed in it. And mainly I was disappointed more so in the fact that I edited it myself and I was a crappy editor. But a lady named Peggy Jones, and that she was the lady that wrote the book Morning Murders. I graduated from high school with her. While I was sitting getting my brakes worked on one day, she texted me and asked me would I beta read her book. And I said, sure. It wasn't very long. I beta read it and I gave her some feedback. And she asked me what I was going to do with my book, Mr. Morgan's Memories. And I said, I'm going to jerk it off of Amazon. It ain't selling, and I'm disappointed in it. She goes, no. And she was the one that actually pushed me toward Julie Rogers to get it edited. And bless Julie's heart, she put up with my silly self, and we went back and forth on that manuscript. We actually, between her honing it down from, I think it was pushing 85,000 words. We pushed it down to probably a little over 50,000 and actually enhanced the story.
Oh, good.
Because I have a tendency to be real wordy, as you can probably tell, listen to me talk. But we republished it as Gunmetal Ridge. And of course, most people that had already bought it, they knew the book. Some people bought it again. That basically is the story, and it's my homage to the World War II generation.
Okay.
My grandfather, I mentioned earlier, my grandfather, my dad's father, was a World War II veteran. He had a brother that I knew that left half a leg in Germany in 1945.
No.
And these are people that I've talked to over the years. I've had the honor in my job, my full-time bill-paying job. I work for a gas company here in North Carolina. And in my travels with this gas company, I've had the honor to meet dozens of old World War II veterans. And that generation is sadly dying out. And I met a USS Arizona survivor. I met 2 or 3 people that were veterans of D-Day, a couple of them that were veterans of the Battle of the Bulge. And it was basically my homage to that generation. I've often asked myself, could I have done, knowing me like I know myself, could I have landed on those beaches in Normandy on June 6, 1944? Because that took a special person to do that. Well, anyhow, I wanted to tell a story about a World War II veteran that finally comes to grips with what happened to him. And I based the main character a lot on my grandfather. Basically, something happened to him in the battle during the Battle of the Bulge that he's had to live with for over 70 years that he's never told anybody about. And finally, he loses. He's 93 when the story starts, and in 2018, and the story starts then because that's when I started writing it. He basically has lost everybody in his family. He's outlived them all.
Oh, wow.
And he's in a nursing home, but he's not there because he has to be. He's there because he wants to be. His wife passes away. They've been married for almost 70 years. And he's living there, and he meets a young guy who is helping chaperone a class of second graders to come there at Christmas time. The winter solstice is a big part of that story, December the 21st. And I did research for what part of World War II I wanted this guy to serve in, and I chose the Battle of the Bulge. And, some people told me, she said, well, Band of Brothers pretty much did that. I said, yeah, but a lot of young people that I know, the only thing they know about the Battle of the Bulge is that the 101st Airborne fought the whole thing, which they didn't. And I would never demean what they did as depicted in Band of Brothers because it's just amazing. But there was a whole lot more to that story than that. So what I did was I chose a very little known American division rather, that served in the Battle of the Bulge. It was a Green Division. And long story short, basically 2 of those regiments were captured by the Germans. And most people don't even know that. It was the largest American surrender in the European theater of war in World War II.
Oh, wow.
But one of their regiments didn't surrender. They weren't in the same area the other 2 were. And that's where I dropped my non-fictional characters. And in my research of it, I wanted to tell a fictional story, but I wanted to keep the history of as close to what actually happened as I possibly could, out of respect for it.
Yeah.
And I've told many people this: the troop movements and things that I mentioned in the book are pretty accurate to history. I just dropped non-fictional soldiers into the story, and basically, he's telling his nurse and this young man what happened to him all those years ago, and there's flashbacks to where the story is being told as he lived it.
Wow.
And he finally comes to grips with what happened to him, what happened to a friend of his, and of course, the story closes out. I was very proud of that one because I am a big history buff. I love it.
I love historical fiction. I really do. Do you have a copy of the book next to you?
I don't think I do.
Let me see if I can bring it up on Amazon.
I may have a copy over here.
I love the cover of the book. Hold on. I'm going to see if I can bring it up on Amazon.
Where is it? Yeah, there it is.
Oh, you got it?
Yep.
That's the new one, right?
This is, Gunmetal Ridge. I've got a couple of copies of the original of this, but that's Gunmetal Ridge right there.
Oh, there we go. I love that cover. I really do. Did you have any design in that cover, or did you design it?
Julie was the one that suggested that. And I think I was the one that suggested, I suggested that she make the soldier's eyes blue because one of the main characters in there, his eyes are blue, very brilliant blue, like Paul Newman blue. I have a thing for blue eyes. I don't know anybody's got blue eyes, but I like blue eyes. And I believe I was the one that suggested putting the silver star on the cover right there. And then she put the ribbon, because that's the actual type of ribbon that goes with that medal. And
it's very eye-catching.
And that's what that was the award that Mr. Morgan won for his actions during the Battle of the Bulge. And he, like many veterans that I've talked to that won Bronze Stars and things like that, they never play it up. They never brag about it. To them, it was just something that happened. And that generation was extremely humble with what they did for this world, for this country, and for this world. And that was just, like I said, it was my homage to them.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
But I thoroughly enjoyed writing that one. Now, that one did take a long time to write. I started it in 2018, finished the basic story in 2022, published it, and then republished it again the following year. And believe it or not, the original version of that, I have sold more copies of that than I have the republished version of that and the second one. I'm very proud of that story. As far as,
and Elaine wants to know how many pages are in that book.
Gunmetal Ridge, it is 211.
Okay,
but
that's a good size.
I'm sorry. Yeah, 211. But you have to consider the print is a lot smaller than the second book.
Right.
If the print was larger, it'd probably be more pages. And like I said, I had a couple people, relatives of mine that are older than I am, that were like, you need to make the print bigger.
Can't please everybody. You really can't. You can't. So the first book was historical fiction.
Yes, ma'am.
Second book, we're going to call it romantic suspense / thriller.
Yes, ma'am.
Out of the two genres that you've written, do you have a favorite, or do you enjoy them both as much the same?
I enjoyed writing the second one as much as I did the first one, but I probably prefer historical fiction. As a matter of fact, I'm being not really pressured, but I'm being asked what my next project is. And I'm delving back into something that I wrote or started writing about 20, what year is this? 2026?
Mm-hmm.
About 40 years ago, when I was actually in the United States Air Force. Well, I've always been a huge, like I said, history buff. The two eras that fascinate me the most are World War II and the American Civil War. And I think the main reason is because during the American Civil War, it was the first war that was ever documented by camera, where action scenes weren't depicted in a painting. It was, the photographs were taken. And of course, the photography was crude at that time, of course. And that story that I wrote about that time was a guy that literally steps back in time through a photograph. And I wrote that, got it about 3/4 of the way finished, put it away. I don't know what it was longhand. I actually wrote that in a notebook, and it disappeared somewhere along the way. I don't know whatever happened to it. But I'm actually considering, and this is probably going to sound weird, but I'm actually considering bringing that story back, the basic story of it, but making it a historical fiction romance.
Oh,
That's
like that.
going to, and like I said, anytime you have a time travel story, it's kind of sci-fi or fantasy type thing. If you do read my second book, I do have what I call 2 Stephen Kings in it. You know how King constantly, every one of his books, he has references to his other works. I've always found fascinating when I'm reading something of his to look for it. Well, I did that in the second book. I've got 2 references to the first story in the second book. And I will probably, if I redo this story the way I'm working it out in my mind right now, I will probably have a reference to the first book in this one.
I like that. Now, Fall into Grace, is that a standalone, or do you think it'll be a book?
I think it'll be a standalone. The way I finished it doesn't leave much room for a sequel.
Okay.
Because at the end of the story, the end of the story basically takes place at the end of last year or this year, 2026. But at the end of the last chapter of it is written as if he's thinking back several years down the road or a few years down the road.
Okay.
So I don't think there'll be any sequel to that.
All right, it's good to know. So right now you're just contemplating your next project, or are you actually writing something? You're contemplating.
I haven't really written down anything. I have been looking for that old notebook, but I don't know whatever happened.
Oh, it'll show up. It'll show. And I want to put this comment up because this is your first live. So I want to put this up because I got a kick out of it, and you will too. I enjoyed listening to Jeffrey and could listen to him more. So see, I told you you're a natural, that you would do just fine for your first live. But we are going to start wrapping this up. This hour goes by really quick. Before we wrap it up, though, Jeffrey, I want to ask you one final question.
Yeah.
Make it short. Make it short.
Okay.
We're going to wrap it up. But what is the one piece of advice that you would give to a writer, an aspiring writer that wants to have their work published?
My piece of advice that wants to get it published, 2 things. Get an editor. Get an editor. Do not do it yourself. And the second thing is, don't go into it like I did with the first one with great expectations of fame and fortune. Do it because you enjoy it and you enjoy telling a story.
Perfect.
And like I said, I went into the first one real naive. I went into the second one satisfied that I've told a good story. And that'd be my advice. But definitely, above all, get an editor.
Get an editor. That is number one. I agree with you 100%. Before we sign off, Jeffrey, this has been such a pleasure to talk to you and get to know you and your books. Many of our readers are put up here. Thank you for your service. And we truly are thankful. Before we go, you are generously doing a giveaway. Would you like to let us know what that giveaway is?
I will gladly send somebody a signed copy of not just one, but both of my books.
Oh, wow. That is very generous of you. One winner, 2 books?
Say again, ma'am?
One winner, both books, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
One winner, both
I just
books.
want to clarify. One winner, both books.
And they will be signed, although my signature at the current moment is probably not worth anything, but they will be signed with a little note from me. I am expecting to get the copies that I ordered tomorrow. So I will gladly get those out to whoever the lucky winner is by the end of this week.
Perfect. I will pick a winner for you and email you the winner. Like I said, it'll be in the US. Also, the $5 Amazon gift card that I am doing. Just please share this video to your favorite groups on your personal page, wherever you want to share it. Get the word out about Jeffrey's books. You'll be entered into the drawing for a $5 Amazon gift card. The more you share, the more you are entered. The one thing, though, now you have to message me that you did share it, because I can no longer see shares. Bloody Facebook.
Okay.
But that's the way it is. Jeffrey, the other thing too is I know I did not get to all the questions. There are many questions. If you go to my author page on Facebook, you will see this video in replay. You can share it wherever you want. You can download it, I think. And you can just go through the comments and answer any questions you didn't get to.
Okay. Sounds good. I will start doing that.
Okay. And any last words before we sign off?
I just wanted to thank you for the opportunity, and thanks for listening. I'm glad people didn't find my old hillbilly accent too overpowering, but like I said, thank you so much for the opportunity, and look forward to putting something else out down the road.
And we look forward to seeing it. All right, thank you everybody for the questions, and have a great night. I will announce the winner in a few hours.